So we must continue. Let's listen to what Jeremy Sohan has to say. Jeremy Sohan, off-season plans and Euro basketball. We got to do another segment of this. By the way, if you guys can, join the Discord, link in the description, right? There's like 1,000 Spurs fans in there at the moment. That would be great. And also follow Spurs Invasion. I think, did we get past 4K on that channel? Do you guys know? Let's see. I'm going to check. I'm going to check right now if my internet speeds up. All right. Spurs Invasion. We did. We made it to 4K. So thanks, guys. Just keep it going. Keep it going. But yeah, go follow Spurs Invasion. Much love. Much love. All the love in the world. I appreciate it. All right. Let's listen here.
As you head into this summer, obviously it's a big summer from a Eurobasket perspective.
Yeah, huge.
Kind of what are your plans now? Like we're in, what are we? 15th,
By the way, this is the greatest interviewer of all time.
15th of May today.
Yeah.
Kind of what's your schedule looking like?
Any new second channel videos? I just uploaded one, and I'm working on another one soon. So
over the coming weeks, then I guess looking ahead to Eurobasket, what are your hopes for Poland?
Yeah.
Ooh, my heart.
Schedule, it's crazy. We
It says Spurs Digest over Clan. Oh, my heart. My heart.
have such a big, long off season. We finished in April. Unfortunately, we didn't make the playoffs, but the season don't start until October. So that's a lot of time to just be free. I stayed in San Antonio for the first few weeks, just working out. Then I, was lucky to get the Philippines opportunity. That was really cool. Now I'm here in London, England. I'm here until Wednesday, and then I go on vacation to Spain for a little bit. But after that, I think June, that's when, the work really starts. And of course, now I'm working.
So this is a while ago.
I'm maintaining. It's important to, be consistent with that. But I'm going to go back to America in June. And, it's going to be straight work. I feel like for me, I have a lot to prove to myself and to everyone else too. I feel like when I look at myself, last season was, there was lots of ups and downs, injuries. For me, I have a lot more to give. So it's going to be a lot about, working out, kind of building that self.
I ain't gonna lie to y'all. I crashed out about something. I'm gonna bring this up. I'm gonna bring it up right now. It's like in the middle of this segment, but the reason being is because everything that he's saying, it's like this dude works so hard and he's actually a really good player. And it really bothers me. And there's something that keeps coming up, and I crashed out on Twitter about it. So let me bring this up. It's pissed me off. It happens all the time. And people are saying like, oh, I'm over exaggerating, or it makes sense for them to do this. I'm getting tired of it. It happens way too often, y'all. So I saw this graphic and I just thought it was weird. The reason why I thought it was weird is because Sohan is never in this. So this is Bleacher Report, and mainstream media seems to always leave him out. Like, it's gotten to the point where it is disrespectful. And I know that people see this and they're like, what do you mean? Like, this is the newcomer. This is the rookie of the year. And that's Wemby. It's like, okay, Fox hasn't really played with Wemby that much, but it's like Fox. Okay, people know Fox. It's like recognizable names. But all I take from this is that this is just casual. This is just casual nonsense. It's just casual nonsense. So I don't like it. I don't like the fact that he is left out of conversations continuously. And some people that have the audacity to say, well, they leave him out because he's a bad player. It's like, no, mainstream media leaves him out because they don't actually watch the San Antonio Spurs play. That's why they leave him out. There's been so many times that I've heard mainstream media just say things that are objectively just incorrect. Like I remember them having that conversation about who's better, Wemby or Chet, and actually allowing discussions around this, right? Actually pushing that nonsense. And then when they when someone asked them or when they mentioned the young core with San Antonio, they mention guys that I don't know if you would consider part of the young core anymore, right? Like I've heard them say Devin Vassell, Keldon Johnson. It's like, yeah, they're young, but like they're not. If you've been watching the games, we know like Spurs fans aren't the highest on those two, right? It's just, I don't know. It's just really dumb to me. It drives me crazy. It happens all the time too. They never bring him up. And he's more of a, I know he's more of a nuanced character, nuanced player, right? Like he's not somebody that's going to give you crazy box scores, but when he's never brought up ever, it just gives me the vibe that they don't actually watch at all. They don't know what's going on. And then people are like, well, Clan, this is our top 4 right here. I'm like, if they're saying this is going to be our starting lineup, which I'm assuming that's what they're trying to do with this, why not just add him in the mix? It's just dumb to me. Also leads to people saying trade Sohan the whole time in chat. Well, it definitely it makes these people feel like they're correct, you know, because they kind of wait. A lot of times people wait for mainstream media to say something. It's absolute nonsense. Absolute nonsense. But I think it's a very casual take to say that Sohan is trash, especially like statistic wise. You could compare him to other players throughout Spurs history that no one would have even suggested trading. Bruce Bowen, you can look at their stats. Sohan's is better than a 33-year-old Bruce Bowen, statistic wise. Now I understand the nuance of Bruce Bowen. Okay, I understand the nuance of Bruce Bowen, but the casuals always bring up stats. They always bring up box score stats in particular, not just stat. Analytics are another thing. If they looked up analytics, like in-depth analytics, they wouldn't be able to say Sohan's bad. But box score, they always bring up box score. You compare him to other players that we've had that's been role players, he has a better box score. Love me some Bruce. I do love me some Bruce Bowen. So yeah. It's just dumb, bro. It drives me crazy, y'all. Like, I crashed out about this. And there were so many people that were... Well, I guess it was quite a few people that did agree. But there was a lot of people that were just, like... not agreeing with me. Bro, you want them to show Sohan next to 4 potential current stars? It's like, I don't think people understand that this was, like... icing on the cake for me. Like, this is the final time I was just like, okay, this is ridiculous, because it happens all the time. It's not just one graphic. I remember when we got Barnes and Chris Paul, they showed our starting lineup and left Sohan out. They don't know he exists. They don't know he exists. They have no idea. Gosh, and for these and for mainstream media to just praise Wemby all the time, it really shows me that they don't even actually watch these games, that they don't know who Wemby plays with. They just look at highlights and like, well, Wemby's incredible, which he is incredible, obviously, but it's like, good God, you don't even know who he plays for or plays with. All right. Somebody said this interview is irrelevant. I don't think it's irrelevant. I like this interview.
Of confidence. And then, like you said, you know, Eurobasket, that's late August, but, you know, we start preparations in July. So it's going to be a busy year, summer. But I'm super excited. And, you know, Eurobasket. Hopefully.
And it's also frustrating, chat, that we can see and recognize how good Castle is, right? We can recognize how good Castle is, but Castle's stats suck. But we know how good he is. I don't understand why we can see the nuance with certain players and can't see it with others. What is it about Castle that we can see the nuance? Because I agree that Castle's great. But no one brings up box score with Castle, which they shouldn't. But then Sohan gets it. Sohan can't shoot? Castle can't shoot. Castle can't shoot. Castle was one of the worst shooters in the NBA. No, he is one of the worst shooters in the NBA. We looked at a graph on that. I think he was like... Where was... No, I think Castle was number 1. it was a threshold of how many shots you had to take. But I think he was number 1 last time we checked, and then like Keldon was like 7 or something. Castle just tough, bro. See, it's just a vibe. It's just a vibe, bro. I have no idea what's going on with that. It's just a vibe.
We can do something too.
How are you feeling about the squad that you've got going to Eurobasket? Obviously, I looked up the group that you're in. You've got
Pretty good group.
it is a pretty good group. I remember you got France and Sevilla in there, and Belgium, Iceland.
Castle is flashy, Sohan is not. Y'all think Castle's flashy? I don't really think Castle's that flashy.
Yeah.
Israel. Is Wemby playing for France? He announced he's playing for France. I don't know.
Excuse me. I'm not sure. He had the blood clot situation. Thank God he's all good.
Yeah.
He's rehabbing and working out. I'm not sure if he's gonna be cleared for that. I know talking to him, he wants to.
Yeah. But that'd be sick if you got to play each other.
No, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy. I know we're playing Georgia, Mamu, my Sandro. He's my teammate. We're playing them in like preparation games.
Okay.
Poor Sohan. I know he was upset when he left.
Actually in Poland, so that'll be pretty cool.
Sick.
But yeah, no, it's gonna be the group is tough.
Eric, maybe that's what it is. Castle got the dunk contest popularity boost, maybe. But like the sickest dunk, I'm not saying this just being a Sohan stan, but the best dunk that I've seen from a Spurs player over the course of the last 3 years came from Sohan. So I don't know. I swear, guys, people will praise Jonathan Simmons before they praise Sohan. I swear they will. Insanity. Yeah, I don't understand it either. I don't understand it either.
I think there's an NBA player on every team but Iceland. So I think I'm excited for that. There's going to be good competition.
Yeah.
And, I think our team's good. I think for us, even looking back at last summer when we was doing the Olympic qualifiers, I think we just need, we need more time together to build chemistry, to understand each other.
Sebastian said, I think it's homophobia and the fact that he's not a scorer at this point. Yeah, definitely the scorer part. I kind of agree with that too. Like, I mean, he's straight, but it's what do they call, like, queer coded or whatever? I don't disagree with that. It's the same reason why Dennis Rodman, regardless of how much of a monster he was, he got a lot of hate, right? So,
but no, I'm super excited, and I think we can do something.
You just said that you want to prove a lot to yourself. Like, what do you want to prove to yourself? What do you think you need to prove to yourself?
Just playing like myself. Whether for me, again, like we was talking earlier about roles. It wasn't consistent. I think for me.
Sohan lost confidence in his shot last season with Triple Out being wide open. Hard to get excited about him after seeing that. He did that a few times. I don't think that it was lost confidence in it. I think that his role shifted. Like, because the San Antonio Spurs, if you notice, he put like a hitch on his shot. I think that they've done with his free throw shooting. I think they were just trying to emphasize a part of the shooting motion for him to focus in on. And for him to be the most efficient, he was able to take more on that power forward type role, and he felt more comfortable just getting into the paint. I don't think that he's like lost confidence in it per se. I think that it's just a process, right? But now we've seen an off season where that's like been the main focus. Every time we see him, it's shooting,
It's gonna be to just
yeah, exactly. I think he was being conservative with his shot since it had that hitch. I wouldn't say it was lack of confidence. Yeah, that's how I feel. It's a little different. It's a little different. Those are two different things there.
Overall game, and wherever I get put, being able to be successful and lead by example in that whatever role that is.
Yeah, exactly. The point guard experiment is what changed everyone's perspective. He was liked before that. I think getting Wemby hurt people's perspective of a lot of people on the team, right? Like, I think a reason why someone like Keldon was getting so much more praise and Fasel was getting so much more praise up till now is because they came at a time right after the whole Kawhi Leonard situation. So we were just kind of grasping at anybody. And we were still somewhat winning. So we were just grasping at anybody that could replace that void in our hearts, right? So they kind of got that amount of love initially, and it just kind of transferred over from year to year. It's like, this is all we have. And then when we got Sohan, it was another example of, okay, we got this player that that we can grow from, right? That we can really set. And then when we got Wemby, that's when a lot of fans were just like, screw everybody. We got Wemby. You're not good enough. You're not good enough. You got to be off my team. And then, yeah, like you said, the point guard experiment didn't help. And then it became the narrative of, is he not passing to Wemby because he's jealous of him? Like, it got ridiculous. It got absolutely ridiculous.
And for me to proving to myself is not only the basketball part, but like we were saying, working on my mental health, working on my body, working on everything. And I think I'm excited to, showcase that in, Eurobasket, and then, lead that, kind of keep that flow going to the season. So, yeah.
Do you see Eurobasket as a big opportunity for you?
100%. I think it's a big opportunity for me to lead, and then also just show, everyone, who Jeremy is.
When you look back,
Hated the narrative that everyone was freezing Wemby out. Yeah, I remember going live so constantly, and I was like, guys, I don't think. It was two things. Number one, I didn't think anybody on our team wanted to freeze Wemby out. I think that you just never played with somebody to that caliber. And then number two, Wembanyama, why would you want a whole season of just giving him lobs, right? Like, why would you want? Don't you want him to experiment? Don't you want him to be able, like, why would we do that? Why would we just say, well, the most efficient thing is just to give him a lob every single time, which isn't ideal. Even with Chris Paul, it didn't work out like that. But yeah, it is going to be much easier with Fox and Harper, though. Those guys are ridiculous. They're so good on the pick and roll, and they can put a lot of pressure on the basket. Wemby's going to get a lot of good looks. But still, yeah.
this season, what are the moments that stand out for you?
Good or bad?
Both. Like, if I just say this season, what comes to mind?
Yeah.
Nadon's correct.
What comes to mind? We had a better season than the last 2 years. We won 46 games. The previous 2 years, what was it, like 22 or whatever?
What is that mentally?
We won. I thought we won 34. I think we won 34.
My goodness!
Right.
Like, people forget. Yeah, most players come from winning programs. Your whole life, you're winning. High school, beating teams by 40, 50, before I got to Premier. In Premier, it's still, we were doing well, EABL, going to high school in America, you're winning, you're ranked. Baylor, we was, undefeated for most of the season, number one in the league, and then, you get drafted and boom, you're playing 82 games, and, we were going through moments where we lost 16 in a row. And you're like, whoa, like, you kind of just have to go to the next game and try to win the next game. It's crazy.
Huncho says, I really love Sohan. He wants to be here and he wants to be a winner. Can't believe we have fans that despise him when he wants to bring a chip home. Yeah, I mean, he's a good, and that's the thing. Like, everyone on our team right now, personality-wise, I vibe with them, right? Like, I like our team. I like them a lot. It's not like a DJ situation where, like, you guys could obviously tell that I don't really like him. But, like, our players on this team, I love all of them. They all seem great. And then that extra layer of Sohan is actually good for this team. I think he fits, right? The only reason I'm hard on Keldon is because I just don't think he fits. But I like him. I don't hate Keldon, And I think Keldon wants to win, too, It's just, I think it's kind of bad when his two best seasons are the seasons where we're really bad, and his two worst seasons are the seasons where we're trying to win. That just seems like you don't fit that well. I know Spurs fans have someone they really love and someone they really hate. I see hate for just about everybody on the team. You know what? Actually, now that you mention it, I guess if I felt a little bit stronger about certain players, we would see a little bit more hate. I think the reason why I see a lot of Sohan hate is because I'm such a Sohan defender. Stop glazing Sohan. There we go again. But yeah, I'm a Sohan defender of sorts, but I actually think he's really good. But I think if I was like, if I really loved Malachi or Blake Wesley or something like that, we would probably see even more hate there on this channel. But yeah.
Yeah, if it was if the
What happens to the locker room morale? When
I was one of the people arguing with you on Twitter about Sohan. What was your name on Twitter?
Deep losing.
Yeah, no, sometimes, it's tough. I think it depends. For us, we knew we was in this, kind of process situation, like learning, we're young. So it was a little easier because we're all around the same age. But like, I wouldn't be able to imagine for a team like maybe, Phoenix last year. You know what I mean? The stars, older team. I couldn't imagine. The thing is, until this year, I never really had like a proper veteran. Like, now we had Chris Paul, Harrison Barnes. So that was a little more, kind of natural. That's what happens in the NBA. But before that, we were just all young and trying to learn and, grow and just, yeah.
Chris Paul is going to significantly help this team. Him being here is going to help us for the future, for sure.
I think that veteran presence brings to the team. What does it change?
Maturity, I think consistency.
Flonnie Lusk? I don't recognize that name. Was I really angry at you? Sebastian said you're wrong. So, yeah, if you were, like, hating on Sohan, you probably were, like, super wrong. If you just said, hey, Sohan needs a better jump shot, and it's like, okay. No one disagrees with that.
Understanding the little things, learning from Chris Paul and Harrison.
I agree,
Barnes,
Rubber Ducky.
great. And, I had veterans in the past that I learned a lot about. But, Chris Paul's a Hall of Famer. The things he saw on the court, like, oh shit, that makes sense. Like, even the way he was talking to refs, like, I've never seen something like that. It's mad.
What does it have to talk to the refs?
It depends. Sometimes it's good. Sometimes it was bad. It's like he's got a presence. They know who he is, and they know who we are too as young players. But he's been going through battles with them for years, and sometimes I'm like, oh, he just said that to a ref, and nothing happens. They know, like, all the referee will like literally say it back to him, and I'm like, okay, this is pretty cool. Like, this is sick.
Yeah.
But
you think veterans get a lot more leeway with calls?
Calls, yeah, at times. I think not even veterans, but like, stars in the NBA. I think you can kind of see it. I don't think the refs do it on purpose. I think,
No, the refs don't do it on purpose. They definitely don't do it on purpose, I don't think. But that is, like, I guess I never really talk about this, but that is a criticism I have of our young guys, is that they really need to go at the refs a little bit more, or, like, talk to them. I know that Wemby says something where, like, I don't try to play politics or something like that. Like, I don't... I think that's the word he used, right, chat? Like, I don't want to play politics talking to refs. And I don't know. I think that he was criticizing himself, like, hey, I got to learn from that and I have to start doing that. But they definitely need to focus in on that more.
Try to be as equal as possible, but I think it's tough. And, stars get the ball in their hands way more often than, other certain players. So I think it's easier to see.
His jump shot does look way better.
Like that, but, yeah.
I mean, of course, the other thing is if you've been in the league 20 years and you've got it all in your hands for 20 years, you're going to have way more interactions with the rest. So you build relationships, even if it's subconsciously. They know you.
Exactly.
They know you don't really mean it if you say something.
Yeah.
Like,
no, it's crazy. I think one thing, that I realized going into the NBA, everyone's got an ego in the NBA. Everyone, players, coaches, referees, people in the organization. Everyone's got an ego. So I think that's one thing, the NBA is about, working on your ego and, like, just
honestly, that's like the only reason I give Phil Jackson so much praise, or one of the only reasons I give Phil Jackson a lot of praise, is because he managed ego so well. He managed it so well.
Yeah. When you think about, like, again,
I think we should end it right there. We'll get into the other segments of this as well. But that was good. I thought that was really good. Sorry I went in that side tangent about people not bringing up Sohan, but good God, guys, it's like drives me crazy sometimes. But yeah. Let's see. Damien says, I'll still continue to watch your channel, but Sohan is a role player, and role players weren't meant for that picture. Oh, you're talking about that. Oh, the graphic. Sohan is a valuable asset to the team because of his defense, but bro, you had a full-on meltdown about him not being on the graphic with Wemby, Harper, Castle, and Fox. Okay, let me emphasize this. Okay, let me emphasize this. Yes, he's a role player with the potential to be much more than that, but I think he is a role player, right? I agree with you wholeheartedly. I agree with you. My bigger issue with that graphic is that it's not just that graphic. It happens all the time in all media, whether it's graphics that they're posting, whether it's discussions about the Spurs' future, whether even when they're giving us praise for our young core, they don't bring him up. That's ridiculous. That's absolutely ridiculous. And right now, as far as Castle is a role player. Now, will he be better than that? I think he can be. But Castle is definitely a role player. He was in college. He's definitely a role player. Now, I already said what I think his ceiling is. I talked about how good he is, but he's a role player. So, no, it's just a popularity contest, and who knows this player and who they just don't watch. They just don't pay attention. If any just Spurs fan were to make a graphic and they said, "Hey, Harper's being added to this team," most Spurs fans, if we made that graphic, we would have had our starting five in that graphic. More than likely, people would have Dylan Harper and Castle in the starting lineup, even though I don't know if I would have Castle in the starting lineup because I think Harrison Barnes makes a little bit more sense, but as small forward. But anyways, like most Spurs fans would have had Fox, Harper, Castle, Wemby, Sohan. Well, Sohan then Wemby, right? Like most people would have did that. But because the mainstream media doesn't pay attention, they don't care. But it's in everything. It's not just that one graphic. It's everything. That's just a small part of a bigger picture when it comes to the mainstream media. I don't know. Clan, it's funny you talk about the young core and people not bringing up Sohan, but I see people on TikTok always bring him up. People on TikTok is different than mainstream media. I feel like a lot of like people that actually love the game or actually like truly want to pay attention to San Antonio will bring him up. But so like probably a lot of TikTokers, right, that talk about sports. But overall, as far as mainstream media, they never bring him up. They don't know. They don't know he exists. They don't know. They don't know. They don't watch anything.